Hi everybody, it's Abigail Oakwell here and welcome back to another WIP and Chat. Now if you're new here, WIP stands for Work in Progress. Currently I am working on a kit that you would have seen me convert last week. So this is the Green Mambas image that I was converting last week. Well, it was last week in terms of your times, but I actually did it the week before. So yeah, I've done the whole of the first top row, and now I'm on the second row. So yeah, I hope you guys are all having a really good day or afternoon, whenever you happen to be watching. Okay, this is the issue with my paddy wax. So because of the adhesive on this, because obviously I converted it to a poured glue, sometimes with my paddy wax it is a little bit disinclined to come off. So yeah, there we are. But anyway, yeah, I hope you're all doing really well. So I actually have notes because you guys know what I'm like. I'm usually happening to be busy for a week, so I put up a different video, like a post review or something. But no, this time I have got my lazy tail together and I have done notes for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, sit tight, get a tea or whatever you happen to be working on, whether it's cross stitch, crochet, knitting, etc. And yeah, just work along with me. So we're going to take this back to a couple of Thursdays ago. So about the time I did my last WIP and Chat. I really hope you can see this okay. It looks like it. It's just because the sun's out today, so I haven't got all my lighting that I normally have on. I really don't want to turn the bedroom light on, but I might have to. But anyway, we'll see how we go. But yeah, we should be okay. So we're going to be doing the week before last and a little bit of this week. So yeah, it has been Easter holidays this week, so obviously all the kids are out running chaos, etc, etc. Enough said. Now actually, you know what, this is probably, oh no, this is, oh yeah, we were technically still in term when this stuff happened, so yeah. Okay, so this bit was just before the holidays kicked off anyway, so yeah, we'll start from there. So Thursday of a couple of weeks ago, so as you guys know, I work in a cinema, and normally on Thursdays and Fridays I will be doing my admin shift. It's been a little bit different with the Easter holidays happening because of, oh my gosh, okay, now this is refusing to go down. Where is it? I think it's in here. Sorry, I do have another pen, which is just a single place, so if I'm having a real issue with a drill or whatever, I can just whip it out. There we go. So yeah, this is just before the start of the Easter holidays. I knew my admin shifts were going to get cut anyway, just because I knew we needed you know, a lot of the team. But yeah, the Easter holidays have been fairly manageable. Well, a couple of Thursdays ago, As you guys know, I have been going on with this overtiredness. I actually filled in an online form today to actually try and get a doctor's appointment. So if suddenly this video is sort of paused in the middle because my phone's going off, then you know, you guys know why. It's probably the doctor's calling me to finally talk about this overtiredness, which has been happening for about 3 months, I want to say. So yeah, and because of this overtiredness, yeah, it hasn't been the most fun thing in the world. Sorry, I'm just going to scrape some excess wax off. There we are. Now, normally when I wake up for work, I'll normally have a snooze button on my phone so that I can, you know, I can just go and I can just basically, you know, get a few more extra minutes of sleep, because obviously we all like to, you know, we all like a little bit more sleep than we normally get. I am so sorry. This is going to be one of those videos that obviously I'm having things happening that, yeah, there we are. Obviously it's stabbed it a little bit too hard. I do find that with this dot stick you do need to have a lighter touch, just a little bit, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I was saying, yeah, because obviously we all like to get an extra few minutes of sleep now and again, but because with this overtiredness, normally when I've hit the snooze, I'll normally put it on, I'll normally whack the snooze on twice. However, at the moment I've been doing it 3 times. Well, someone forgot to hit the snooze button, I think. Or I just was really tired and I just slept through my alarm. And I had Josh nudging me in the side going, Abigail. And I'm like, what? And he's like, what time do you start work? And because on Thursday and Friday I normally start at the same time, which is 9:30. So I'm normally working from 9:30 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Yep, I definitely stabbed that one too hard. And that is, you know, that's normal for me. And Josh was like, Abigail, it's 20 to 9. Now I always leave at about 10 to 9, just so that I've made sure that I've got enough time, you know, to go get myself ready, etc, etc. And I was like, what? So I frantically dive out of bed and start to, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, that is really terrible of me. Terrible job placement. I tend to, so yeah, I dived myself out of bed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late for work. So, yeah, had breakfast, very quickly. And my mum was like, yeah, make sure you brush your hair, because I still live with my parents. And I was like, I don't have time. Because obviously, waking up, you know, 10 minutes before you're about to go to work, you can't always, you know, make yourself look presentable. And this was one of those days that I was like, Mum, you're just going to have to live with my parents when I'm going out to work. So yeah, I ate my food, ate my breakfast, dived out the door. Yes, I did actually manage to leave on time. And went and drove, me and Josh drove off to work. And, you know, that was the end of that. However, it was the release date of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the third one. So, like, I thank God. Okay. Oh no, it wasn't. It was the next day that it was Fantastic Beasts. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Yeah, so oh no, actually it was. Yep, no, Fantastic Beasts had come out on the Thursday. So yeah, I managed to get myself in work and start on time as well, which is always a bonus. So yeah, basically our manager, one of my managers, James, he had bought these cardboard cutouts of some of the creatures from Fantastic Beasts. So you had the Niffler, which is the mole crossed with a duck-billed platypus. So if you haven't seen Fantastic Beasts, like any of the films, I will pop a picture of what the creatures look like. And then you've got a stick insect-like creature called a bowtruckle. And he bought cardboard cutouts of both of these two creatures, which was incredible. And he spent about, I think he said about 50 quid on both of those signs. But together, they both cost 50 quid. So yeah. And then he got me to make little signs saying, do not feed the animals or the Niffler will steal, you know, do not feed the animals, you know, and stuff like, please make sure you keep all valuables with you or else the Niffler will steal them. I wish we had an actual Niffler. I really do. It'd be so cute. I have to say, when customers lose stuff, like a phone or something, we'd know exactly who to go to. Be like, Niffler, I know you don't like me, but empty your pouch. So yeah, yeah. So I was making fun little signs. The top banana, Ben, actually came in. And he was like, and he just gave me this look like, Abigail, is this just an excuse so you can look at images of Nifflers and stuff? And I'm like, no, yes, maybe. So, yeah. That was fun. Oh no, that was the Friday that I was making those signs. Yeah, no, so sorry. Yeah, I've jumped a little bit. So that was the Friday. But yeah, going back to the Thursday, like I say, I woke up. Well, actually, no. Then that must have been on the Friday. So this whole story must have happened on the Friday. So ignore what I've just said. And I was like, yay! So, I was doing my my admin stuff, and we noticed that this person is a serial offender when it comes to lateness. And yeah, basically he was meant to start at 9:30, the same time that I was meant to start. And yeah, so his excuse was that he woke up late. And that he'd had a late the previous night and he hadn't checked his calendar. So yeah. So obviously, with it being the release of the third Fantastic Beasts film, I just said, okay, get here as soon as you can, preferably by flu powder, and then please report Professor, their last names, so, but I'll just use their first names. So Professor Ollie, and who was the team leader, and Professor James. So, which, yeah, he found highly amusing, and he just said, yeah, I didn't check my calendar. So obviously, us being us, we assumed that the calendar was in his room, but it was actually downstairs, just so his mum knew when he was working, because I drove him into work a few days later, I think. Yeah, I did. So, yeah. But obviously at the time, you know, me and my manager and the TL, we weren't buying this at all. And it was, yeah, I have to admit, it was absolutely hilarious that, you know, because it was like, how the hell can you get in and not check when you're working? You know, I normally do that. I'm like, okay, I'm at this time tomorrow. Cool. So I'll make sure that I'm up at this time. Yeah. So yeah, that was Friday. Pardon me. So yeah, next day, Saturday. It's just a regular shift for me. Like always, I always just have a regular shift over the weekends if I'm working. It's only Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays that I actually do my admin stuff. So those are the days that I get to hide in the office, which is great. But however, like I say, because it was holidays, my admin hours were severely reduced. Which, you know, I was fine with, but it was a little bit weird, you know, being out, being out on the shop floor when I would normally be sat in the office. But it's fine. I mean, I dealt with it. It's just one of those things. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just having to check symbols and stuff. Yeah, it's that one. Yeah, now to celebrate the opening of Fantastic Beasts, you know, we were able to dress up, and now I have, I actually do have an official, cloak that I bought from Harry Potter World in California. So yeah, the Warner Brothers, so I bought it from the Universal Studios in California on my 21st birthday. So yeah, I was like, hell yeah, this is fantastic. You know, great, this is a day that I can wear my robe, la 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 la. And also I had a wand as well. I had Narcissa Malfoy's wand that I bought from the Harry Potter studio tours in London. Because obviously that's so much closer to home than naturally gosh, okay, this isn't wanting to do that. So yeah, I was like, right, I'm gonna wear these, I'm gonna wear my cloak, etc, etc. Now, if you don't have one of these official Harry Potter cloaks, if you're working, or even if you're walking around on sort of a semi-hot day, you will know how hot these things bloomin' get. And I mean it, they get hot. So when I was doing screen cleans and toilet checks, I was happening to take it off. Because, yeah, it was just so hot. But anyway, yeah, so all of that was happening. I saved the niffler from getting stolen by a kid. Ironically, while I was having a conversation with my manager, Ben, who is a massive nerd. And he was like asking questions like, how do you go to the toilet and stuff? And asking, you know, how hot you get, etc. And I was saying, yeah, you do get very hot, but, you know, it's all part of the fun, really. So, you know, I didn't really mind, you know, getting hot, just as long as sort of the kids were enjoying themselves. And enjoying the fact that, you know, the staff were, well, not all of the staff, but some of the staff were dressed up and just, yeah, having fun. When the last Fantastic Beasts came out, we had pin badges that said, you know, keep it a secret, no spoilers, etc, etc. Now, I hadn't worn this cloak since then. So, when that came out, that was probably about 3-4 years ago, I want to say. So yeah, that my Gryffindor cloak has not been worn since then. I love Harry Potter. I love how they're written. Now, I love J.K. Rowling as an author. As a person, I'm a bit some of the things that she's come around and turned around and said, I'm like, yeah, you can't say that. But no, in terms of sort of, you know, Harry Potter and anything else, I love it. So, yeah, and I've always had a very active imagination anyway, so, yeah. So, yeah, it's when things like this happen, it's always fun. So, yeah, I just explained how hot that it did get quite hot, but, you know, it was fine. It was fine. Now, the previous night, there'd been, I'm trying to think how many people were on. There were about 3 people closing concessions, 2 people closing floor. Now, I was closing floor by myself because, yeah, I think my manager James had taken one look at the rotor and thought, oh yeah, these people will be fine. Yeah. So, yeah, so me, Josh, and the other closers, we were a little bit like, we need more people. Yeah, my half 10 didn't finish the sweets completely. I don't know what time. Now my half 11 was taking forever to do the staff areas. I don't know why, but they just were. So yeah. So yeah, that was but yeah, I was perfectly fine to do screens by myself, but yeah, I was running around like a maniac. Now, I mentioned the last time I did a WIP and Chat that we have an issue of rats. Now, I have been assured that they are getting sorted. However, that night when someone had gone out to the bins, I went out with them just because I wanted to, you know, assess what was going on with the, you know, the rodent problem. And I found a freshly dug burrow. I will pop a photo of said freshly dug burrow right here. So yeah, I immediately went to management and was like, yeah, this is a thing. And they were like, yeah, we've got people involved, so yeah, don't worry. Now I don't think I have yet to see anyone, sort of any contractors or pest control, come and say, hi, we're here to deal with the rodents at the moment. So yeah, I'm a little bit like, hopefully, you know, it won't be too much longer before I see something. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to be a little bit worried. So yeah, they assured me, and I did have to also that night ring home for people to please be closing the bins after they've been popping rubbish out, because when I went to go and throw some bags in the bin, the lid was off, and obviously that's encouraging the rodents to go into the bins rather than to eat the poison that the pest control guy has left for them. So yeah, I did just say it to everyone, even those that hadn't been out. I was like, yeah, I just want you all to know, and just all to be aware of this, please. But no, they were fine. So yeah, that was Sunday. Now I'm going to go to Monday. Now, I was actually off because, like I say, they cut my admin shifts. So yeah. They cut my admin shifts, and yeah, so I've had the last 2 Mondays off, actually, which have actually been really, really nice. So just going to grab a drink. Ooh, crumbs, I'm sorry. Josh bought me a massive bottle of Coke Zero, so yeah, I'm just drinking straight from the bottle at the moment, so Excuse me. So yeah, obviously Monday, as you guys know, I do horse riding. Sorry, I'm just trying to get things sorted after knocking you guys. Sorry, this is how tired I get, where I'm just trying to think and do everything. Yep, so my first lesson went really well. I had popcorn and I had my normal instructor, Sally. Now, I say my first lesson because I actually had 2 lessons that day, because I had a catch-up lesson on that day. So I had a different instructor, an instructor that I had never had teach me before. So I was like, you know, it's fine. It's just going to be like a regular lesson of how it's going to be, you know, when I'm with Sally. But, you know, instructor's going to be a little bit different, la la la. So yeah, I basically met my instructor. And at first I was like, oh, okay, you seem okay. And then the lesson happened. Now, I found out this week that this instructor has a habit of doing what happened with me. So, yeah. Now, this second instructor that I had has been, you know, trained as a classical rider, etc., etc. And now, I am not a classical rider at all. So, the way that the seat of the classical rider is it's just everything like back, legs are back, you know, really far back. You know, everything's, you know, a little bit more loose. And she was trying to make me into this classical rider. And I was like, this isn't me. And I was like, I'm just gonna do the lesson. Everything's gonna be fine. Da 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 da. You know, don't worry yourself. Don't worry yourself. You're gonna be fine, etc., etc. And yeah, this second instructor just had this undertone that I did not like. You know, there was just something about her I just didn't like. And I'm like, okay. This is unusual for me, because normally, you know, I don't mind who teaches me. I'm not like fussed or anything about who teaches me. But this was something that I was like, I really didn't enjoy my lesson. I did not enjoy myself. I felt... So this second instructor was uber critical of everything. So Sally loves how still I keep my hands. She didn't. She loves, you know, Sally likes my seat. This other instructor didn't. You know, she was like trying to get me into this classical riding seat, and I have never felt so unbalanced. Like, I think this was sort of, I felt like I was going back to rider, like beginning rider unbalanced. This is how bad and how uncomfortable I felt. I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, what is going on? So, yeah, I never say, you guys know how much I love my horse riding. Now, this, and for me to be sort of feel dejected after a horse riding lesson, that doesn't happen. But after this lesson, I felt so sad after it, because I was like, I've never doubted myself after my riding lessons. I never have. But this time, I was like, you know, am I really that bad of a horse rider? Because she was saying, I can pop you onto any bouncy horse and you'll be the same. You know, just really unbalanced. And it was like, oh my gosh. And it was kind of like, she also had a very sort of, it was subtle, but there were some words that she would pronounce that I could hear it. She had a quite posh British undertone in some of her words. And then it was like, after the lesson, she was like talking, going, yeah, I've got 7 horses and I'm still broke. And I'm thinking, great for you. Great for you. In the back of my mind. And then she was saying, yeah, and I'm always broke. And I was like, am I meant to feel sorry for you on that bit? Obviously, I didn't show this on my face, but I was thinking it. And yeah, I hated that lesson. And I will jump forward to this week, because I was also off this Monday as well, and I told Sally about my lesson, and she was like, she was shocked, and she was like, I'm so sorry that you felt that way, because, you know, Sally has been my instructor for like 4 years. I'd say 4 out of the 5 years that I have been riding there, she's been my instructor. And yeah, to kind of go through that and just doubt my own riding. You know, I tend to be a little bit more looser when I'm with a different instructor, just because I get nervous. But yeah, the fact that I had an instructor that I didn't even know, that, you know, I don't really sort of, you know, ride with, because she doesn't actually normally work on a Monday. She told me that. You know, try to change how I ride into a dressage classical rider. I was like, I can't. And I'm a perfectionist, and I was trying so hard. Like, I was really trying so hard to, you know, do what she was saying, but yeah, it was very, very upsetting. You know, and like I say, you know, guys know me, I would never say that I hate horse riding lesson, but that time, I actually hated it. That was my first ever bad experience at the place that I've ridden. My first ever bad experience with the place that I've ridden. And I'm not going to lie, I even, after that lesson, thought, do I quit? do I quit? But I just thought, you know, I was like, this is one lesson. You're going to have so many more lessons and you're not going to feel like this every day. So, yeah, I just was like, you know what? I'm going to let this go and we're just going to... I'm going to let this go and we're just going to, you know, go onwards and upwards. And if you still feel, you know, this way next week, then we'll, you know, we'll debate what our next move is. And of course, this week I had a lot better riding experience. So yeah, horse riding is still happening. And yeah, again, I was riding popcorn this week. So yeah, that was good. Now, I'm going to go on to Tuesday. And, oh, I had a really great day on Tuesday. So I started working I had the 8:30 shift. Sorry, my thing's got it. So I had the 8:30 shift till 4 on Tuesday. And now, as you guys know, with my overtiredness, because I touched on it at the beginning, it's just like, especially with those early starts, I'm like, oh, no, don't make me do it. Now, this was like a terrible day because my eyes at work, the first 2 hours, they were just heavy. And I spent a majority of my shift, you know, sitting down on a chair, because obviously I have the bad ankle. You know, my Achilles is still trying to make up its mind what it wants to do, which hopefully it will figure out what it wants to do, hopefully within the not too distant future, she hopes. And I basically, I was sat down most of the shift, as I said, and for the first 2 hours, I just could not keep my eyes open. I don't know what it was, but, well, it was probably the overtiredness and the fact that I was so sore. I was just like, from doing 2 lessons when I hadn't had a horse riding lesson for like 2 weeks, and I was just so sore. I was in so much pain, and I just wanted to just fall asleep right there and then. I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care who saw me. I was just like, yeah, just get me a little bed, and just get me a little bed, and I'm gonna fall asleep right here. Yeah, and it was a very semi-quiet. Basically, I could have been afforded to have been sent home, but they didn't send me home. They sent the person on concessions home, though, which our pissed about. So, yeah, I just sat there, worked my shift, and then I went home and I slept after work for like 2 hours. 2 freaking hours I slept for. That's how bad, you know, I was that day. And then that evening, we went to see the stage adaptation of a book by my favourite author, Kate Moss. Now, when I say Kate Moss, I do not mean the model. It's the question that I always get asked every time. Everyone's like, what's your favourite writer? Who's your favourite author? And when I say Kate Moss, they're like, what, the model? I'm like, no, not the model. So yeah, and basically this book is set around the surrounding areas of Chichester. And is, you know, set in the wettest spring on record in 1912, and it is a fantastic read. It is incredibly dark. Oh, I should have probably put the name of the book. It's The Taxidermist's Daughter. Now, this book is incredibly dark, so I would say, yeah, do not read this to your kids, because it is incredibly, incredibly dark. And there were bits in the stage adaptation that were a lot more darker in the book. But it was incredible. It was so true to the book, because the author herself, she had written the stage adaptation. So yeah, I just thought, oh, this is incredible. And I was so hooked, but I had the heebie-jeebies all the way through. But yeah, fantastic piece of theatre, and I hope that she adapts more of her books into stage plays, because it was amazing, absolutely amazing. I loved it. So yeah, I also got my rota that night. So the next day, which is Wednesday, which was when I was meant to record this last week, ha ha ha, she says, it was, so I had a really boring day at work. Trying to remember where it was. I think I was on floor again. Yeah, I was. But I was walking around this time. I wasn't sitting down on my happy tail that day. Yeah, I finished at 5 that day, so that was okay. But yeah, I had to talk to James about my rota, because he had given me an illegal shift, which is actually, as I'm speaking to you tonight. So he had me working from 5 until close. And then tomorrow, I've obviously got my admin shift. Woohoo. I've got my admin shift, and yeah, I was meant to be in tomorrow for 9:30, which is illegal. I have to have an 11-hour gap. So yeah, he was like, okay, I'll change that. So now tomorrow I'm starting at 11, and then I finish at 6:45. But yeah, I might be able to finish a little bit earlier, I hope, because we've got D&D. So every Thursday at home we actually play D&D, and I always get to see my godson Dexter, because we play it with my best friend Robin and her husband Will. So yeah, that was fun. So Thursday. Now, Thursday was a really, really quiet day. It was ridiculously quiet. To the point that, you know, it just was like, ugh. But no, we did have a little bit of drama. So there was a guy, he had bought through a site. So normally through the holidays, there's this site that does like vouchers and stuff, and they can get, and families can get like perks and stuff. You know, at participating cinema sites. Now, this voucher was for any soft drink, a small soft drink. I will clarify. This was for any small soft drink. And the guy wanted 7-Up. However, when we scanned the voucher, well, when my colleague scanned the voucher, we could, you know, he said, 7-Up's not coming up. And this guy was getting really irate, saying, I want 7-Up, I want 7-Up. So, he called me over after I finished serving my previous customer. And he was like saying, yeah, I want 7-Up. I looked at the voucher and I said, well, it's not coming up, I'm afraid. And I even showed him on the till saying, look, it's not coming up, which means that this drink is probably not included in this deal. And I explained that to him. I said, look, the fact it's not coming up on our system means it's probably not included in the deal. And so then he asked me what the difference between Pepsi and 7-Up was. So I was like, well, this is the difference. And he was like, well, why can't I get 7-Up? I was like, because it's not in the thing. So he had to go for Tango instead. And then I went away to serve someone else. After I'd explained this whole thing to this customer that my colleague was, you know, serving, and I overheard him say, "You're Abigail," to my colleague, and I'm like, yes. And I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind, you're lucky that I wasn't serving. And basically, he was going to make a complaint. Not my problem. I did my job. I even showed him on the till that it wasn't coming up. So, yeah, not my problem. That's probably something that I have to... He'll probably have to talk to the customer service of the site that does the vouchers. So, yeah. But no, I haven't been pulled in to say, oh yeah, this person's complained about you. So, yeah, I don't care. Yeah. So yeah, Saturday of that week. Oh no. Sorry, jumping ahead. Sorry, I've just got my notes. So after that, I had a package arrive addressed to me, which I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Have I ordered something to the site by accident? Because theoretically I could do that, but I wouldn't because, you know, I'm responsible. So, yeah, and so I mentioned a little while ago that I had some locker keys to order, like replacement locker keys to order. And I was like, yeah, okay. So that big box that had come in, addressed to me, was that order of locker keys. So because of how quiet it was, I was basically allowed to go in the office and just do some admin work there. Which was, you know, which was fine because I was like, oh, thank God I just get to relax in this office. So, yeah, I went and, yeah, just did that and some other stuff, in the office. And we had, while I was in the office, on the ice cream stand, we also have a little fridge with like little tubs of ice cream if people don't want to. Sorry, if people don't want to get a scoop of ice cream from our dipping cabinet. Excuse me. Which you know, perfectly fine. However, there was a group of kids that had come in. They were looking really suspicious. Now, when we have kids come in, like in a big group, I don't know why, but they always do this. They go to the ATMs, so the automated ticket machines, and then they go to the toilets. Yeah, it's strange. But yeah, no, these kids, there were 3 of them, stole 5 tubs of ice cream, and we caught them on CCTV. Yeah, one of my colleagues, Mike, tried to stop them, like he ran after them. But yeah, so at first we thought they had stolen 4, and then we saw that 2 of them one of them had stolen 3, and then the other 2 had just stolen 1 for themselves. But there were some very, we got some faces, and there were also some very distinctive, you know, things about these boys that we could tell, and it was like, okay. So if the police were looking for them, they would be able to basically match them down, basically. And then, yeah, so that was that. And then I went back to concessions to serve because I saw there was a bit of a queue. And I was just serving, and we got another delivery from Amazon. However, this time, this was a really small one. This was, I think, what was in it was like some stickers, for labeling some stuff. And basically, he just threw it in front of me while I was serving a customer, and then just left. And it's like, rude much. And that's the first time that's ever happened to me, where I've had an Amazon guy just throw something at me while I've been serving. It's like, I get it's a hot day, I get you probably don't want to be doing your job, but I'm trying to do mine. Be respectful. So, yeah. That was amusing. And then, I think this is probably going to be my final story. I can touch Easter next week. Game plans. So the TLs. So normally on a Thursday, I'm the one that's doing the game plans. Now the 2 TLs that were in the office, neither of them knew how to do it. Despite the fact Ben had emailed and left step-by-step instructions of how to do it. Guess who had to talk them through it and do game plans? Yeah, me. I was the only person in the building who knew how to do the game plans, so I did that and the weekly paperwork. Which, you know, absolutely fine, I don't mind. So, yeah, I did that, and yeah. So yeah, I did that. Everything was, you know, all fine, etc., etc. And yeah, I think that is actually it for me. So I've got a bit done because, as I said, this is a pair of 2 green mambas, so which are a type of snake from Africa. These are the eastern green mambas, if anyone's curious. So yeah, there is a lot of green in this, so I'll be working on a lot of green. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing, and if you would like to, leave a comment if you have any questions. Everything that I've used will be linked in the description below, including this cover minder, the store that I got it from, including this pen that I've been using to single place. They are no longer selling on Etsy. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Take care, everybody. Bye!